Welcome to Yachting International Radio. You're with Karine Rayson from the Crew Coach on your mental health. This week I'm going to be talking about corona anxiety. So obviously with everything that's happening right now, the change, there's been a disruption in our routine. There are a lot of people feeling anxious, and this is totally normal. So anxiety stems from our thoughts and worrying about the future. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some strategies that you can incorporate on board or at home to manage your anxiety. Then I'm going to go through a workbook that I've created, which is available to download, on how you can recognize anxiety and what you can do to restore a sense of balance and harmony in your life. So I'm going to start off with the first strategy, and that is self-care. If you can't look after yourself, you won't be able to look after anyone else. So it's really understanding what activities bring about a sense of calm and replenishes your sense of self. So it's really thinking about what activities bring a sense of calm and also re-energizes yourself. So there may be an activity that works for you and not for someone else. So it's really important to explore a range of different activities that elicits those emotions. So self-care strategies could be going for a walk. It could be reading a great book. It could be watching your favorite Netflix show. It could be journaling. It could be doing yoga. There's so many different self-care strategies out there, but it's about finding the one that works for you. The next one is food. So I'm a firm believer in intuitive eating. Now, what that means is really connecting with your gut and asking yourself, if I eat these foods, is it going to make me feel good or is it going to make me feel worse? So personally, eating fried foods doesn't make me feel good at all. I feel lethargic and I feel a bit gross after eating them. So I think for me, it's about eating fresh food. I'm not a huge meat eater, but I find that I do need meat in my diet. So it's about going with what feels right and makes you feel good. The other one is journaling. So we have on average 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, and a lot of those thoughts are repeated. So what journaling is good for, it helps you get your thoughts down on paper and reduces the amount of repeated thoughts that you're having. So the reoccurring negative thoughts, the thoughts that are worrying you. The other one is yoga. So yoga is not for everyone, but there are fantastic psychological benefits around doing yoga. So we find that a lot of our emotions are stored in our bodies, and by doing specific poses, they help release those emotions. Working in a prison, it was very difficult for me to convince the men to do yoga because they thought it was a feminine activity, but when I told them it was more to do with stretching the muscles, then they were more open to doing it, and it was met with a lot of enthusiasm because they could start feeling good about themselves and recognize that it helped with high performance. The other one is sitting in silence and doing breathing exercises. So this helps with connecting with the here and now. When we're connected to the here and now and we're present, we are incapable of worrying about the future. So this is a really good way to get grounded. I'm now going to share my screen with you and go through the workbook. Okay, so we know that isolation and a loss of routine can be very disruptive, but it also can have an impact on our mental health. So I've developed an action plan to help you dictate what you would like your day to look like, and for it to help you restoring a sense of balance and well-being, as well as giving you a sense of purpose. So the World Health Organization defines mental wellness as an ability to cope with everyday stresses of life, as well as to be able to be productive and to make a contribution to your community. So given that, I have tailored this action plan so that we can tap into those 3 core areas. So being productive, it's so important to wake up knowing that you've got a sense of purpose. So the first thing I've created is a work list. What do you need to get done today, and what can you do that will make you feel that you are achieving something? The next thing is a self-care plan, which I've mentioned before. What activities can you do that will make you feel good and make you feel re-energized? Acts of kindness. What kind act can you do that will make someone else feel good? So that is, it could be checking in on a neighbor, it can be calling a friend and seeing how they're doing. It could be writing a beautiful note and slipping it under someone's cabin door. It could be making someone a cup of tea or coffee. The other one is gratitude. So I like to either start or end my day with gratitude. Gratitude helps us connect to the here and now, and also it helps us stop worrying about the future. So looking at the things that you do have rather than things that you don't have. And the last little block I have there is reflection. So what thoughts or feelings came up for you over the course of the day, and thinking about your intention for the following day. How would you like to feel tomorrow? The objective of the resource is to help you maintain a state of well-being as much as possible. And you can adapt it to suit your needs. This is a working document, so you just work with it as you please. So yeah, I'd like you to reflect on what personal resources you can turn to when managing your stress. So think about what has worked for you in the past when you have been stressed. And I also suggest doing this work plan with friends or your crew members, because this is going to help you brainstorm ideas. You may get an idea from someone else, for example, a self-care strategy that you haven't thought of before. So it's a really good way to connect with others and stimulate some positive conversations. The next thing I have is talking about the self-care plan. So, that can incorporate physical activities, workout routines. You can do at home. There are some great YouTube influencers that you could follow who have, I've seen recently, have released free workout routines that you can be a part of. And doing things with I know a lot of crew are trained as yoga instructors. So maybe asking a crew member to run a yoga class, or doing something together as a group. Stay social. So you guys can have movie nights. I know a friend of mine on board, she organized a movie night under the stars, which is a lovely thing to do, to be out in nature as well. And what else could you? Board games are a great activity to do as a group. So yeah, get creative and think what activities you can do to keep the spirits high. Talking about keeping spirits high, it's important to have a positive mindset during this time. Now, engaging in social media, there's a lot of information out there, and everyone's talking about the coronavirus and how, the deaths and how people are so impacted by it. But this can also be detrimental to your well-being. So really think about your boundaries around social media and when to pull back. Reconnect with yourself. So this is an opportunity to think about your personal and professional goals on a scale of 1 to 10. How happy are you with your life right now? What changes do you think you need to make? And what are your values and your strengths? And are you applying them on a daily basis? There's a great free resource that you can do to do an assessment on what your values and strengths are. And this is through the BIA Strengths Analysis. I've spoken about gratitude, and now this is proven to boost our physical and mental health. It builds resilience and connection by noting what things you can be grateful for each day. I also recommend downloading the Happy Crew app. Now, this is a great way to beat social isolation by connecting with fellow crew that have similar interests as you, and you can tap into different conversations about your passions and build some friendships online, and hopefully connect when this is all over. I'm also offering a 50% discount on my counseling services. So if you feel that you want to talk to someone or feel that you are impacted by social isolation, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you for joining me, Karine Rayson from The Crew Coach, on your mental health. I will speak to you next week.